looked like what I kind of expected to see, which was sort of the Star of Bethlehem kind of situation. Apparently, though, somebody like Kepler actually thought that that's what the Star of Bethlehem had been. I can't remember who it was, but some famous studier of the stars. In any case, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Bob Worth, and I'm the music director of Sonoma Bach, and I'm here to welcome you and to kind of guide you through this first. Everything's an experiment this year, as you all know, and this is an experiment too. For about 8 years now, Sonoma Bach is doing something that we call the EMC, the Early Music Christmas. We began that, I believe, in 2012, and each year it's a tradition that many groups have, and some groups do essentially the same program each year, and it becomes beloved in the community, and people come out to hear these specific pieces and a specific production, kind of like the Nutcracker. But we've decided to take a different tack. It's completely different each year. We choose a different theme. Sometimes the themes vary. Obviously, we're always somewhere around Christmas, but in terms of the last year, it was the Nordic countries, and the year before that, it was eclectic, and the year before that, it was all Italian repertoire. And so it's become a really fun thing to do for me. I love to program, as most of you know, and to pull together each year a new and different approach to this wonderful holiday season. This year, it's very different, and this is going to be a different approach. It's more participatory. And but Diana has put together kind of a core video for us that's going to help us guide through, and then I'm adding some other materials as we go along. Some of you know that I'm kind of into Christmas. Starting with the very oldest artifact I can show you is this famous book, which I call the Sleigh Book. I always thought there should be a horror movie at Christmas time called Sleigh Ride. But anyway, a lot of you recognize this, and we'll actually sing some songs from this book. But over here to my left are many other books, many other books. I have more caroling books than anybody has a right to own, including several versions of the New Oxford Book of Carols, which is an incredible encyclopedia. And so I've been collecting these from these books, but also Christmas repertoire, everything from simple carols and up to motets and masses and everything and beyond. And it's just something that's been an interest of mine ever since I sang for 6 years in a mercenary Christmas quartet from the late 80s into the early 90s. And many of you probably know the countertenor Chris Fritchie. Well, he was a tenor at the time, and he was our tenor, and we still laugh about some of the times we had singing in places like Kmart. And one time we sang right in front of a flashing blue light special, and we used to have to go into a pet store and a laundromat. The laundromat was one of the more depressing things because people clearly don't like to be seen in the laundromat, and here we were, these bright people dressed in Christmas garb, etc. So, but another interest of mine that developed kind of out of this early music Christmas tradition is Christmas poetry. And I didn't bring my Christmas poetry books down, but I have many of those as well. And as some of you know, I like to kind of stitch together programs with readings. And it could be poetry or prose. And a number of our early music Christmases have had that component. And so will we have that tonight. I've chosen some of my favorites. Some of you will remember them, and they're going to be woven in with our program. So speaking of our program, I'm going to share my screen, and then we'll begin the program, and I'll give you a little travelogue as we go through segment by segment. So I'm going to share my sound and share my screen, and now you should see something that says Zoom. Does anybody see something that says Zoom? Raise your hand. No? You can't see something that says Zoom? Yes. Okay, good. And here is the video that I mentioned that Diana put together. And as you'll see, she did a lot of work on this. She actually, I believe this was the moment when she learned to put this stuff together. And that is to say, an audio tape with a slideshow. There's, as you're going to see, there's a component of actual human beings singing in squares, the way everybody's doing this year, and with the music there, and with subtitles that show us the translation. So don't thank me for that. Thank Diana for that. I know it was a lot of work to put it together. The first thing we're going to see and hear is an excerpt from our Early Music Christmas of 2018. And that was called Let There Be Light. And the show was essentially a Christmas oratorio with recitative and what's called turba choruses and other choruses, all pulled together from various different sources. And it began, well, one of the elements was the 6 settings of Lo How Rose, which is a carol that many of you know in his famous iteration by Michael Praetorius. But a 20th century composer called Hugo Distler made this his own Weihnachtsgeschichte, or Christmas oratorio, and he included 6 different settings of Lo How Rose. So you're going to hear the opening of that. It begins with a piece by Michael Praetorius called Lobt Gott, ihr Christen. And then following that is a piece by Heinrich Schütz, Ein Kind ist uns geboren, which is the text from Isaiah, for unto us a child is born. And then you'll hear the first of Distler's 6 variations on Lo How Rose. And I'll be back after that to guide you to our next stop along the way.
Hey, Bob, we just had a little screen share issue. So I fixed it and you should just restart. Sorry about that.
What was that, Diana?
We had a little screen share issue.
Yeah, somebody shared their screen.
Yeah, so I fixed that problem. And so do you want to just start that piece over again? We're back to your screen. Sorry about that.
Okay, I'm going to start it I'll back up just a titch.
Perfect.
Okay. Kid Stuff by Frank Horn. The wise guys tell me that Christmas is kid stuff. Maybe they've got something there. 2,000 years ago, 3 wise guys chased a star across a continent to bring frankincense and myrrh to a kid born in a manger with an idea in his head. And as the bombs crash all over the world today, the real wise guys know that we've all got to go chasing stars again, in the hope that we can get back some of that kid stuff born 2,000 years ago. Christ Climbed Down by Lawrence Ferlinghetti. Christ climbed down from his bare tree this year and ran away to where there were no rootless Christmas trees hung with candy canes and breakable stars. Christ climbed down from his bare tree this year and ran away to where no fat, hand-shaking stranger in a red flannel suit and a fake white beard went around passing himself off as some sort of North Pole saint, crossing the desert to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, in a Volkswagen sled. Christ climbed down from his bare tree this year and softly stole away into some anonymous Mary's womb again, where in the darkest night of everybody's anonymous soul, he waits an unimaginable, an impossibly immaculate reconception, the very craziest of second comings. This is our first virtual thing, and you'll see some shining faces pretty quickly. And Diana has cleverly inserted not only the pitches so that you can sing along as you wish, but also a count-off. So, and you'll see, how does this work, Diana? I guess people have to just know this song. Here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Deck the hall with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la. See the blazing new before us, fa la 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus, fa la 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 la. Follow me in merry measure, fa la 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 la. While I tell of Yuletide treasure, fa la 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 la. Fast away the old year passes, fa la 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 la. Hail the new ye lads and lasses, fa la 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 la. Sing we joyous all together, fa la 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 la. Heedless of the wind and weather, fa la 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 la.
So there you go. I tell you, one thing that everybody knows by now is ritardandos are extremely hard to pull off when you're doing that. The next songs, are kind of the core of this is from, many of you will have sung in our recording session at the Christian Brothers Monastery over in Napa many years ago in our Holiday Singers recording session. And these are songs, some of them from the sleigh book, and some of them are arrangements that I made back in the days of that Christmas quartet I told you about. It's a series of these that Diana has kind of stitched together, and I'll put a poem in between each pair. And these do have scrolling score so that you can sing along as you wish. This is called The Stable by Gabriela Mistral. When midnight came and the child's first cry arose, 100 beasts awoke, and the stable became alive. And drawing near they came, reaching out towards the child, 100 eager necks, like a forest swaying. An ox whose eyes were as tender as though filled with dew lowered his head to breathe quietly in his face. Against him rubbed a lamb with the softest of fleece, and 2 baby goats approached, licking his hands. Pheasants flew down and swept over the child tails of many colors, and a swarm of blackbirds became a veil, rising and falling above the newborn. The Virgin, confused among such horns and whiteness of breathing, fluttered hither and yon, unable to pick up her child. And Joseph arrived, laughing, to help her in her confusion, and the upset stable was like a forest in the wind.
One, two, 1, 2.
Hymn to Joy by Julia Cunningham. Give greatly of your grunts, O pig. Scratch deeply of your joy, O hen. Sing out in choired squeaks, O mouse, to herald in the boy. Amen. The tiger's head shall know his hand, and bow that he may stroke his ears. The lion lend his ropey tail, the jackal joke away his tears. A stable will become his home, 3 kings will journey far to see his sleep, his waking, how the world shines in this moment of gaiety. So bray your best, O simple ass, release your cheeps, O little wren, trumpet down stars, O elephant, announce our love. Amen.
One, two, three, four.
The Gift by William Carlos Williams. As the wise men of old brought gifts, guided by a star, to the humble birthplace of the God of love, the devils, as an old print shows, retreated in confusion. What could a baby know of gold ornaments, or frankincense and myrrh, of priestly robes and devout genuflections? But the imagination knows all stories before they are told, and knows the truth of this one past all defection. The rich gifts so unsuitable for a child, though devoutly proffered, stood for all that love can bring. The men were old, how could they know of a mother's needs or a child's appetite? But as they kneeled, the child was fed. They saw it and gave praise. A miracle had taken place, hard gold to love, a mother's milk before their wondering eyes. The ass brayed, the cattle lowed. It was their nature. All people by their nature give praise. It is all they can do. The very devils by their flight give praise. What is death beside this? Nothing. The wise men came with gifts and bowed down to worship this perfection.
One, two, three, four.
Making spirits bright, what fun it is to ride and sing the sleigh
That was rousing. This one's called Christmas is Really for the Children. It's by Steve Turner. Christmas is really for the children, especially for children who like animals, stables, stars, and babies wrapped in swaddling clothes. Then there are wise men, kings in fine robes, humble shepherds, and a hint of rich perfume. Easter is not really for the children unless accompanied by a cream-filled egg. It has whips, blood, nails, a spear, and allegations of body snatching. It involves politics, God, and the sins of the world. It is not good for people of a nervous disposition. They would do better to think on rabbits, chickens, and the first snowdrop of spring. Or they'd do better to wait for a rerun of Christmas without asking too many questions about what Jesus did when he grew up, or whether there's any connection.
One, two, three.
Reindeer Report by U.A. Fanthorpe. Chimneys, colder. Flight paths, busier. Driver, S-Clause, still baffled by zip codes. Children, more and stay up later. Presents, heavier. Pay, frozen. Mission, in spite of all this, accomplished.
One, two, three.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds wake at the sight, glory stream from heaven afar.
This next one is our last sequence from Diana's video that she made so beautifully. And this is from the Bach Choir's last concert before the pandemic. Yes, that's correct. Our organ recital in January of 2020, featuring Anne Laver at the organ and the Bach Choir doing chorale melodies and harmonizations and otherwise accompanying. And this is a little sequence from the end of the concert in which you're going to hear the Bach Choir with Annie doubling, singing the tune of this wonderful Philip Nicolai chorale, wie schön leuchtet der Morgenstern. Many of you know it, and even if you don't think you'll know it, you'll recognize it as soon as it comes on. And then Annie's going to play some variations by Jan Petersson Svelink no, maybe they're by his son. I think they're by his son on the theme. And then no, I guess they are by Svelink, and then the harmonization that you're going to hear, a tutti directly afterwards, is by his son Dirk Svelink. And I'll introduce this with my last poem, and then go straight into the sequence. It's called The Oxen by Thomas Hardy. Christmas Eve and 12 of the clock. Now they are all on their knees, an elder said, as we sat in a flock by the embers in hearthside ease. We pictured the meek, mild creatures where they dwelt in their strawy pen. Nor did it occur to one of us there to not doubt they were kneeling then. So fair a fancy few would weave in these years. Yet I feel if someone said on Christmas Eve, "Come, see the oxen kneel in the lonely barton by yonder coombe our childhood used to know," I would go with him in the gloom, hoping it might be so.
Cherish
Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings to you wherever you are. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Now bring us a figgy pudding. Now bring us a figgy pudding. Now bring us a figgy pudding and bring some right here. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. So bring some right here. Good tidings to you wherever you are. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
That was great. I forgot that that was on there. That's so fantastic. I think you're right in front of Monty's there. I love it. I'm going to stop my share now and just have a few more things to say. First of all, special thanks to Diana for putting that all together. That's quite a job to do. And there's one person who's going to keep learning for the rest of her life, I know, because you can tell she really loves to learn stuff. And you know, of course, we all wish we could be doing concerts and caroling together right now, and we can hardly wait till we get back to it. But it's a blessing to be able to do what we can do. And I think so many people all over the world have been trying to find ways to keep choirs and other musicians together, and to keep a community together, and keep learning and keep growing and keep doing some things, the things that we can do safely. And I'm proud of what we've been able to do, of course, with lots and lots of guidance and work from Diana, but from many, many of you, all of you really. And that's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to reach some people that I think there are people on there. I know there are people on this Zoom call that wouldn't be able to come to our concerts. They're not close enough. And I think that's an unlooked for benefit of this period of time. I'm not going to give too much away because there's not that much to give, fortunately. But I just want you to know that we're working very hard on the spring, but also on the 21-22 season, and considering all kinds of options and opportunities for having a full season, though it will be different from our normal season. We're going to try to build in as much flexibility as we can, since we don't know exactly what will be happening with the virus. As far away from now as when we normally start up Bach Choir in early September. And there are many unknowns, but we're committed to getting back on our feet and doing some live things in whatever way we can safely. In the meantime, we just want to express our thanks and our love for all of you, and thank you for being here, but thank you also just for sticking with us through this difficult time. I know it's been hard for everyone. So much has been lost during this time, and I know one of the things we're going to have to attend to when we get back to singing together is marking those losses, both our own losses in our choir and in our community, but obviously also the greater losses in the whole country and in the whole world. And I've got some ideas around that and how we can plan out our season so that we can celebrate life, but we can also celebrate and remember those whom we've lost in all this time. I certainly hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. I want you to stay safe, have a good time, and stay safe. I don't think those things have to be mutually exclusive. There was a wonderful thing in the paper. I sent it out in my email today, which some of you might have seen in the New York Times today, about should I even decorate the tree? You know, I mean, the family's not going to be here. You know, how much effort should I put into the detail that I use to make my home look beautiful, make the table nice and everything? And this person was comparing it to the author was comparing it to that the detail work that you can observe in an old church that's way too far away, you know, for anybody to actually see. And yet, if you get up there on a scaffold, you have a chance to actually look up there. Every little crenellation is right there where it's supposed to be, and it's done. I know that one of the explanations for that is it's to the glory of God. You know, it doesn't matter if we see it. This person used the idea of the pigeons might see it. You know, the pigeons might be up there and they might notice it. And so when we do this kind of detail work and we put love and care into something, even though it's not going to be seen by all of our loved ones that we would hope, it is a work that we do for ourselves, for those few people who are present, but also in some sense for the world. And so I guess I'll leave with that wish. Although I know now we can have a chat time and people can unmute at this point. Diana, do you want to talk to them a little bit about that or have your own words to say?
Yeah, sure. It's just so lovely to have you all on this call and to see a full screen of faces. It's been a rough year trying to figure out what we're doing on our end. And every time we log in and we see you, it's the best. We miss you. I mean, it's been hard for us not to be together. And so to see your digital faces is such a gift to me. And I'm so grateful to see you all and to put these projects together and try to keep ourselves together in this kind of funky time. And I look forward to 2021 and some new energy and some new love and joy and things that we can bring. And so I'm just grateful for all of you. And then I'm just going to let you know that if you'd like to stay on the call and hang out, say hello to some people that you haven't seen in a little while, maybe share what you're doing for Christmas here at home. But just feel free to unmute yourselves, or if you are finished for this evening, you can go ahead and log out and just know that we're thinking of you. We're just happy to have you, and Merry Christmas. Look at all these people. Hello, hello. Unmute yourself and say hi if you'd like.
Oh, no.
Hi, Cammie.
It's 3 o'clock somewhere. Is it 5 o'clock anywhere? I think what Bob was saying about just adorning the tree for the world and the angels, and for our eyes and our ears, singing for the angels, singing for air, stars.
That's nice. I like it.
Did anybody get a chance to see Saturn and Jupiter tonight? Chancey has sent me an incredible photograph. It was really neat. You could see all the moons. And so it was just a very cool thing.
I actually drove on the street, the road to try to see it, but I think the area where it is was covered with clouds where I was, so I missed it. So
Can you do a screen share? Anna, can you do a screen share, or will it not come out?
Tomorrow night, maybe tomorrow night it'll be better.
Chancey, can you do a screen share and show it?
I can do it. Give me a second.
She got to see it. I did not. I was in Petaluma. It's been foggy since.
In Katati, it was part of the sky was clear, but just that part was not. Ooh,
Can you see it?
Yeah.
So this is Jupiter and the
Gorgeous.
three moons. Three moons, and this is Saturn.
Oh my God.
Make it look a little